Welcome to this panel discussion, which focuses on vehicle data. Is it a hype or hope? My name is Stefan Dreher. I'm head of Connected Cooperative Automated Mobility at Ertico ITS Europe, and I will have the pleasure of guiding you through the discussion of the panel this morning. So let me just start. Vehicle data is often seen as crucial to enable and make mobility smarter, more efficient, and safer, and as well enabling new business models. But is it truly a game changer, or are we falling for the hype? To discuss this topic, I will be joined by a panel of experts representing the car manufacturer, the supplier, and the service provider perspectives to explore the real opportunities and challenges of vehicle data and whether it's really a game changer. So to start, and for the inspiration for the discussion, I would like to call to the stage Adela Spulber, who is a project manager and product manager for data as a service at Mercedes-Benz AG, with 14 years of experience in sustainable mobility, advanced automotive technologies, and digital products. And she holds a master degree in urban planning and is passionate about decarbonizing mobility. So Adela, the floor is yours to set us the scene.
Thank you very much, Stefan. So good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here at ITS Congress in Sevilla, where we talk about the future of mobility, about innovation, and in my case, about when things don't always go as planned. At Mercedes-Benz, we've been turning connected vehicle data into valuable insights for nearly a decade. And in this time, we've seen expectations soar high, we've seen reality slap us back down, and then slowly but surely, we were able to turn this data into something truly valuable. So today, I want to share with you 3 lessons we've learned on our journey. I'd like to talk about the expectations we had, about how things actually happened, and then how we managed to bridge the gap between expectations and reality. At Mercedes-Benz Data, we like to say that we give vehicle data a second life. So we take the data that our vehicles generate, and this is data that's normally used for product improvement or for making our ADAS systems work. And we collect this data with customer consent, and we analyze it. Sometimes we also aggregate it or anonymize it, and we create insights for the public or private sector. And the goal is to make mobility safer, more efficient, or more sustainable. So, as I said, when we started working with this data, we realized quite fast that working with this type of data comes with a lot of expectations. And some of them are true, and some of them are just wishful thinking. So, this is why here we wanted to share some of these lessons with you. And before I do that, I want to start with a simple question. What does Mercedes-Benz data actually do? Turns out it depends who you ask. If you ask our parents, they'll say, oh, they just sell cars, it's the dealership of the future. Everything's digital. So in their minds, we're still just selling cars. If you ask our car dealers, however, they will say, oh, they're just building innovative mobility solutions, green logistics, vans connected with cargo bikes and VTOLs, really futuristic stuff. And then when we hear from some of our actual car data customers, they'll sometimes say, you know what we really need? We need a digital twin dashboard full of KPIs and magical insights. And the thing is, as it often happens, expectations are not matching reality, because what we actually deliver to our customers is this: data attributes via an API. It's not something fancy. It's not a flashy dashboard. It's not an immersive VR experience. It's just structured data. And I know it's not that sexy unless you're Neo from the Matrix. And what's even harder to imagine is everything we needed to do to get to that point, to the API. We had to pass the ultimate test. We had to pass the Mercedes-Benz internal data clearing process. You know, those Olympic track and field competitions. Yeah, well, GDPR compliance is a lot like that. And in the end, it's totally worth it because our customers' trust, the drivers' trust, that's never negotiable. So based on a few of those expectations versus reality, I'll now dive into the lessons we've learned in these past 10 years. And yeah, sometimes we learn these lessons the hard way. So, lesson number 1, data is the new oil. Hype or hope? When we started implementing this new business model, we were expecting that selling vehicle data would be as fast as a Formula One pit stop. You know, customers would grab the data from our hands, demand would skyrocket, and we'd see that famed hockey stick sales curve. The reality is that selling vehicle data is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Let's take one of our clients, Trafikverket, for example. So they're the Swedish Transport Administration, and they wanted to explore the potential of connected vehicle data. So they started working on a tender internally in 2021. Then they published the tender in 22. Then we applied to it, and after 2 phases of tendering and multiple scrutinies, we won the contract, we signed it, we started the project in 23. And after a 2-year project where we validated the data, we did some more product improvement, the client was satisfied enough that they renewed our contract. So if you do the math, it took us 4 years to win the trust of one customer. 4 years. So what did we learn? We learned that evangelizing takes time. We learned that sales cycles are long, that word of mouth is crucial, and that reputation building is everything. Lesson number 2. Scalable products versus local problems. Another expectation we had was that we could just build standard data products and we could scale them around the world to all kinds of customers for all kinds of use cases. We were basically applying the same sales strategy we use with our cars. Reality, though, is our data clients had local problems. And local problems require custom solutions. This is a challenge we faced with Trafikverket again, because what they wanted was to detect road damages that are coming specifically from frost or rapid temperature changes because of their extreme climate. So the solution there was they wanted to use a metric that had been developed more than 20 years ago by a research institute, but had never been applied at scale because they lacked the data. So what did we do? We proved that you could indeed use vehicle data to calculate that metric, and then we build it into our product. So now the Swedish authorities can monitor the condition of their roads continuously. So what did we learn there? We learned to love the problem, not the solution. We learned we need to develop product features based on actual customer feedback. We learned to tailor the product to exactly the needs, and when we don't want to do that in-house, to use local partners. Lesson number 3. Break the chicken and egg cycle of customer trust. We were also expecting, starting into this, that our clients would almost immediately understand what to do with our data. We would just publish the specs of our API on our website, and then voila, the clients would know what to do with it. And the reality is many of the clients, especially from the public sector, have a really hard time knowing what to do with the data. And so the perfect example for that was what we did with our clients in the Netherlands. So we worked for the Dutch Ministry of Infrastructure and Waterways for more than 2 years. And at the beginning, it didn't work that well. And we started organizing workshops with their users, the people actually in the traffic control center. And we ended up doing countless workshops. And the reason is we finally understood that it's not about just delivering the data. It is about helping the client understand the value of the data. So each time we did a product improvement, we went back and explained to them what we did and why it mattered to them. So the lesson here is we needed to do direct engagement, education, and also mutually learn from each other. Which brings me to my last point. So after all this hard work, you might think to yourself, where is the exponential growth we were promised? The truth is our growth isn't flashy, but it's real. We've built returning customers, Trafikverket, Rijkswaterstaat, Transport for London, here, Bosch. And they're not just clients, they're long-term partners. And so as we move forward, we need to move past the hype because vehicle data isn't magic, but when we use it the right way, it can lead to a powerful and lasting impact. So let's break assumptions, let's build trust, and let's use vehicle data to solve real-world problems, one insight at a time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adela, for this inspiring presentation. I think you already highlighted clearly some opportunities and challenges for harnessing vehicle data. So for the panel discussion, I would like now to invite to the stage 2 other key stakeholders in the vehicle data ecosystem. So we have first Dr. Minea Schwenk, who is heading the product area Connected Map Services within the unit Cross-Domain Computing Solutions at Bosch. Minea is responsible of the company's growing business around crowdsourced mapping and for advanced driver assistance systems and autonomous driving.
Thank you.
Welcome. Our second panelist or third panelist is Christian Kleine. He's manager product partnership at HERE. He's leading initiatives on open data and public-private cooperation and is active in data exchange initiatives such as TNITS, DATEX2, National Access Points, or ADF. So I will join you for this discussion. So let's, after this initial, I would like to hear from all of you really what is for you the potential and the unique selling perspective of vehicle data. So maybe just starting with you, Adela, following on your presentation, what do you see then as really the unique selling perspective for data compared to other data sources?
Yeah. So I'll just take one concrete example because it's really depending on the use case. So in the case of our product in Sweden, they normally monitor road conditions with customized vehicles equipped with many lasers. It's costly, it takes a long time, so authorities typically only do it once a year. They survey their roads. And this happens, they don't have continuous information. And the power of connected vehicle data, the potential is that they can complement or maybe long-term switch from this current method of gathering data once a year, and they could do it continuously based on data collected by the cars that are driving on the roads already. They could understand how the quality of the roads is evolving seasonally. And this is especially important in countries that have extreme climates, where roads do break down much faster. So you need more than just a survey once a year.
Thank you. Indeed. So it's about availability and really continuous monitoring. Minera, from a Bosch perspective, so can you tell us why do you use vehicle data and how do you work with it?
Yeah. I mean, at Bosch, we're very huge, right? So we use vehicle data for many our services and products for our customers, for our OEM customers. Especially in the field of ADAS, where I come from. Also, we have a long history in using vehicle data. We used to have our own development fleets. We use vehicle data to actually develop our ADAS systems, maintenance, and for calibration. But I think now what is a real game changer, since the ADAS systems shift really from rule-based, like you see an objective and 10 meters and then you brake, to really data-driven services. And you need such a much more richer and higher amount of data that we also try to find many ways to actually gather these data, like with our partners, which are again OEMs. We have partnerships with Volkswagen and also with Mercedes-Benz to gather these data.
Interesting. And Jens, now to you, Christian. So you're involved in many initiatives as well, working between public and private sector. So what is for you then the value of this data, in particular for all the rider stakeholders, also from the public sector?
So maybe first of all, it's let's say like this: we are getting data from more than 44 million vehicles, not only from Mercedes, also from others, and for the moment we are really concentrating on what is really possible now. So, for example, using data to detect speed limits for ISA, for automated driving, for current ADAS systems to really improve them and make them really more reliable. But of course, in the future, we are also looking for stronger use cases like automated driving, and then we are investing really in those features. But also, I think we need to go stepwise. So to see what is possible now, using this data, improving the current systems to build up on this experiences.
Okay. And Indian and all these different platforms are involved in also helping and sharing this data afterwards as well. Okay. So now we heard about the benefits, so there are clear benefits, I think. But Adela, you highlighted as well in your presentation the challenges. So expectations as well versus the challenges. So what do you see as the biggest maybe blockers or challenges for related to vehicle data?
Yeah, I think all the 3 lessons I shared boil down to the fact that it's a fairly new product, connected vehicle data, and we still need to do a fair bit of developing the market. We need to validate the data, check if the quality of the analytics are good enough for the use case that's required from the client. We need to do a lot of that evangelizing, working with the customer to use the data. A lot of that, especially in the public sector, but even with the private sector, we still need to accompany the clients really well so they understand the data. We can't just throw it over the fence, expect them to use it right away. So that's the challenge. It's a new product, and we need to build trust around it, build a market for it.
Okay, so it's a lot about indeed raising awareness about the challenges as well. And because you mentioned that, so it's not that much technical in the end. It's really more for the customer. And you, because you are at Bosch, because you are really working on this data-driven product. So what do you see from your side as well as the main blockers?
I mean, I think you pointed out already a few cases, right? But I think what we also see is, first of all, I mean, you need to get the data, right? I mean, and even we have like exponential increase of connected vehicles, we still have some areas where we're not able to provide our services because they're not populated enough or whatever, for some reasons, we just do not have the vehicle data. And then I think the second point is the formats. Yeah, as a tier one, we work with many OEMs getting a lot of different kind of data, and all these data doesn't have the same format. So, I mean, actually working with data at scale, right, is cost intensive as well. So you need to have connectivity modules, you need to actually have the infrastructure, and you need to buy somehow the data as well. So in all these ecosystems, I think, and it's a challenge to also build a service which as the end user willing to pay for. So basically, I mean, data-driven services as well as ADAS functionalities need to be affordable for the end customer, and they actually need to know, okay, what is in for me? And so I think here we still have a bit of a way to go. And I think the last one is basically the geopolitical challenges as well. At Bosch, we're like a global company. So if we want to like scale with our data-driven services, we also need access to global data. And especially in the last months and years, right? I mean, data also gets a passport. So we really need to do some risk mitigation also to provide global solutions which are based on vehicle data.
Very interesting. So a lot also related to willingness to pay and the customer seed. So then to you, Christian, at here, so I guess you are using the vehicle data as well to complement the other data that you have, fill the gaps. And so what's from your side as well, the main obstacle actually to the scaling of data-related data?
So I think Minea already pointed it out a little bit. It's really still the fragmentation, data fragmentation. So you as getting access, standardization. These are the main obstacles, and also to have transparency. What is really available on data? Where are the marketplaces where you can get this data, and then also to find or build viable business models. So it's not about just buying the data and then we have a good product or good service. So we need to orchestrate and then get into using a lot of different data sources to build those services. So it's more processing behind this. So these are I think the main obstacles, and yeah, and of course there's the sheer volume of the data to really find out what is the right information at the right time.
Okay, so then given now these opportunities and challenges, so maybe because the topic was really to understand now, is it a hype or hope in the end? So what's your perspective? So is it really a game changer? Are there still too many obstacles actually to really harness the full potential of vehicle data and raise the value for the customers? So let's start maybe with you indeed, Adela, what's your perspective to that?
Yeah. I think it's a question we ask ourselves at least every week. I think it is a game changer, but what we learned is we don't exactly know when the game will change, and maybe it won't change as soon as we were expecting. I think this is the lesson. It is a game changer. It just takes longer for that big disruption to happen. It's it starts really small and then hopefully it will ramp up.
Okay. From your perspective, Minya, why didn't it happen yet, if you agree?
I would say I think we really need to differentiate a bit, right? I think we have this data-driven services where everybody was saying, okay, we will get millionaires in future. So let's park this for a second. And we have, for example, the whole ADAS ecosystem. I think here data for sure is the game changer, right? Because it will make the streets much more safer if we have vehicle-to-vehicle connection, if we actually tell vehicles in advance what is on the road, if we make an overall driving much more safer. But we heard, I think, many of these challenges, if we actually want to sell it to the end customer here, we really need to create more value and also value, which is either the customer paying for it, or we need to find a way as companies to actually somehow finance the business case. And I think, I mean, on one hand, it's still happening, right? With all the AI changes and everything, we very much see it everywhere. All these data-driven, algorithm models, AI systems. But for data-driven services, let's see. I think we still ramp up. There, some of them are still really niche products like predictive maintenance or insurance-based services. But I still agree. It will take a while, but I think together we need to work on these challenges, and then it will come.
But so that means that we have probably initially a bit overestimated it. So from
Yes.
your perspective, then from at here, so given that if we overestimate it, so what do you see then maybe as now the short-term value versus maybe the long-term potential of
Yeah,
data
well,
for you?
as I said already, I think it's already happening now. So the game starts to change, but yeah, very slowly. So what also Linnea already said, it's really it's been used in what is already there on assistance systems, but the potential is much higher. So let's say it like this. So for example, for road alerts to get really more precise and then maybe some predictive information on where an accident has happened or maybe will happen. So yeah, it's continuously improvement. So we just started using this data, getting more insights, and then how we also really can make use out of it. But yeah, as already mentioned, you will take some data.
Maybe to give a very concrete example to make you understand why exactly it takes much longer than we expected. And I'll come back to my example in Sweden. So the promise there, or the interest from the Swedish authorities, were that they could take connected vehicle data and monitor roads continuously. And this way, someday, they could do predictive maintenance. They could someday understand how roads deteriorate in winter and therefore maybe change the way they build the roads, like in the techniques or in the materials or in the type of interventions that they do. Maybe they fix a road sooner with smaller interventions, and therefore they improve, they lengthen the lifespan of this road. But you understand, so this is where the value of the data comes. But all of this will take at least a decade. So now they started, we took 2 years to validate the data. Now they are integrating it into their bigger data architecture, combining it with all the other data they have. And then they will start understanding how to use it for planning purposes. So all this promise of reducing CO2 emissions from road building, decreasing their costs, all of this will only materialize, hopefully, much later, in 5 to 10 years.
And I think we probably as well need to work together. I mean, that's why there are many initiatives where we just work together with the public authorities, because indeed already 10 years ago, I think there were discussion groups and public authorities were very interested in seeing how they can use that. But probably indeed they didn't realize the challenges that are ahead for that. But
No, maybe
Yeah, you can.
just said about public authorities, because we're working a lot with public authorities, and then it's not that you just can take the vehicle data as its own source. You also need some information from other sources, like public data, and also vehicle data can then build a feedback loop back to them to verify their own assets and then everything. So what, as said before, we need to find the right business models also for this, especially for public authorities.
Okay. I think we have still a little bit of time, so I just would like to quickly, we have time for 1-2 questions from the audience, very quick questions. Yes, do you? I don't know if you have a microphone or... Yeah, I cannot hear you.
There's my
Oh, wait, a microphone is coming.
Hello, thank you very much for this very good insights. My name is Hans-Michael Kögeler, ABL. We had yesterday also podium's discussion about digital twins. And in an European project, we see the potential use case, or maybe it's already reality, I'm not sure, for fleet operators to really make, let's say, optimized decisions for their logistic planning, depending on weather and, let's say, backlog list, what they have to deliver in predicting the fuel consumption to the future. I think you have made a nice use case. You need to have the use case, the benefit for the end customer first to develop a business model for it. I'm just in this situation. We have now a great digital twin predicting 1,000 times real time the energy consumption of a vehicle under the conditions. How to make a business model out of it. Is there already going something on? Are you interested? Frank question, sorry for that.
So is it mainly about fleet operators? That's
Fleet operators, aren't they have the needs to, let's say, predict the future energy consumption, especially for electric vehicles where it is narrow, and to make decisions accordingly, and to refine a base digital twin, which has to be developed for the vehicle for sure, but it can be refined for the trips, not giving the design space which is needed overall, but yeah, there are options.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Which
see
is
it?
for that, but yeah, who wants to take
Yeah.
that for?
Yeah, this is an area of great potential that we have. I didn't mention in that in my presentation, but at Mercedes, actually one of the first connected vehicle data products we had were for fleet operators, and it still is. We do still a lot of that, helping them manage the data and use the data they have from their fleet. And when it comes to EV fleets and optimizing the range, reducing the electricity they consume, that's the next big thing I would say, because we've been collecting. We have the ability to collect EV data, the travel behavior of EVs, the parking behavior, the charging behavior, and we can use a lot of that to predict range much better. I mean, we already do that internally. When you have a Mercedes vehicle, we integrate a lot of data collected by the sensors to give you a very accurate prediction of your range. And we even, coming back to the quality of the roads, this product I explained, waviness, that detects the roughness of the road, it is actually used for our vehicles as well, because depending on if the road is very smooth or very rough, it will also have an impact on the range of your EV. So we also use this not just for public authorities like in Sweden, but also our RD colleagues are using it internally. So for sure, solutions will come in the next years specifically for EV fleets to help optimize them even more.
Like to add something?
Yeah, I would just agree. I think fleet is just also like, one customer group, which is makes it easy to scale, right? I mean, for each and every kind of service, I mean, no matter if you have road condition, hazard services, fuel consumption, I think here is great potential. And I think, we have Bosch and also Mercedes-Benz work for sure with fleets as customers as well.
So definitely among the great
Not-
potential
not-
use cases. I guess you agree.
Nothing so much to add. So just that it's again a combination of different sources. So we have the fuel consumption or energy consumption of the electric vehicles, but you also need to know where the charging stations are, what is the status of the charging station.
Okay, I think we have to close the panel. I think because Linnea has to catch a plane, and we have a packed agenda with other sessions to follow up. So thank you very much to our esteemed panelists. Thank you very much for the very interesting discussions, and thank you for attending this session. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.